Hey everyone, welcome to Collie Country. Today I'm going to do a bit of a garden tour. It's been a little while since I've done one. Not a huge amount has changed, but there is a few things growing and getting ready for the next season. Spring here soon, so thought I'd just show you guys around. Maybe tell you some plans of what we've got coming up. Oh, this is why we can't have nice things. Get out. Get out, crazy girls. Hey? You know you don't come in the garden. Oh, garden pups. Oh, Gracie G. Alright, so I thought I'd start with these outside gardens that I've got going. As you can see, cucumbers are growing really well, considering it's been a little bit cool overnight. It's been getting down to like 10 degrees. They're growing really well. We've picked quite a few cucumbers off there already. I think I've definitely seen some more flowers and some more cucumbers on here. Plenty of blossoms still coming on, so as it warms up, I'm sure this vine will get quite productive. Happy about that. This is a white type of cucumber, and it's not supposed to get bitter like some of the green ones do, so far so good. Alright, so down this row, you might remember in front of the cucumbers and all the way down this row, there was beans. We didn't get any beans. All the beans died, which I think is a soil issue more than anything. Here we have sugar snap peas and snow peas, which I'm letting go to seed. To be honest, neither of these tasted very sweet like they should. So I'm hoping if I save seeds, it might take a few seasons, but hopefully they get a little bit better in our climate. A little bit of perpetual spinach that is trying its hardest to grow, but it just is not doing great. Honestly, this soil is like so dry and hard. It really just needs some work put into it. Some corn, which is struggling. This all needs a good water though as well, so I will do that this afternoon. Shelling peas. Same with these. These actually tasted pretty good. Look, this one's even still putting on blossoms. That's crazy. It's warmed up quite a bit this weekend, so I'm a bit surprised about that. But same with these shelling peas. I'm going to let them go to seed. Save a heap of seeds. They're not quite dry enough yet. And hope that they do better next year here. Alright, heading back up the other side of this garden. Still got our pineapples here. No pineapples happening yet, but these take time. Some flowers that I've grown. Real impressed with this snapdragon. I've never been able to grow these from seed before, so very happy with this. It's very pretty too. No idea what sort it was. Nothing off these. They desperately need a water. My dahlias are not doing great. They are struggling. I think, honestly, it's the lack of water. It hasn't rained here in weeks. The zinnias doing their thing. Hopefully all these seeds fall down and we get self-sown zinnias. These outside tomatoes definitely are showing the lack of soil nutrients compared to the ones in the greenhouse, that's for sure. A couple of these I pulled out because they were starting to look a bit ratty. So from here on up, these are all Amish paste tomatoes, and they've done okay considering they're in this really cruddy soil that I didn't really revamp before I planted them. So, you know, there's decent size tomatoes on here. It's just production wise, they haven't put on a lot, but they are good. They're delicious. This plant's doing better, but they all need some water. So there's, you know, decent little bunches on here. I will say though, I'm more impressed with the Sans Marzano. variety for the, you know, like the paste type variety tomatoes. And it could just be that they're in the greenhouse where it got heaps of fish and stuff buried underneath it. And I definitely did a lot more with that soil. And I will give the Amish paste another crack next season, next year, when I might put them in better soil and see if they do better. But so far the Sans Marzano are definitely outdoing the Amish paste for your Roma type paste tomatoes. I just want to show you guys something about how great mulch is. In this bed just in front of me, half of it's been mulched, half of it hasn't. I can't remember why, potentially just ran out. But, so in this bed, this half's mulched and this half isn't. Ignore the rubbish, it's just out of the way while we mow. But you can see I haven't weeded any of this. It's been left to do its own thing. Sweet potato vine's taken over up the end, but that's fine. The mulched area, like no weeds at all, and then up in this area that's not mulched, full of weeds. You gotta mulch. All right, coming around, sweet potatoes have taken over this little bed. I've just let it go. Sweet potatoes are always good. So, in the first greenhouse, this is a tomato greenhouse. It's still doing really well. Most of the plants look really healthy. It's put off so many tomatoes. I've got a couple of kilos in the freezer already. And look at the size of some of them. They're like as big as my hand. A lot of them don't still have the tags on, so I can't tell what they are. But these two here are a yellow variety, and they've put off some big tomatoes already. This one's starting to succumb to disease, I think, so once I get these two big ones off there, I'd probably pulling this plant out. This one's still really nice, but I did accidentally break his top off, so I don't know how much more he'll be producing on this stem anyway. Although there are blossoms on it. Yes, I don't remember the variety of that, and I can't find the tag. This is a Rumsey's Red. It's put off these really nice slicer sized tomatoes. Been really good, really tasty. Once again, more blossoms being put on, so happy with that. This one, I can't remember what it is, but it's got some big tomatoes on it. Really happy with these. Cookie in the background. Here we go. What are these? This was a Jubilee Yellow. So I planted a lot of yellow tomato. Oh, look, I just broke the tag. We have some beetroot that really didn't bulb up particularly well, so I'm just leaving it. These dang ants have taken over and making a nest in it, which is great. Every time I come in here I get bitten. Some lettuce over the back here, which I'm letting to go to seed now. We've actually picked a fair bit off here, you know, off the edges, but I'm going to let it go to seed because it didn't do great. And once again, like the peas, I'm hoping that next year will be better. Now this is my biggest tomato. Look at the size of this. It's bigger than my hand. It's huge. And I have already picked tomatoes off this plant. Let's see. This is the Brandywine Pink. The Brandywine has done really well with this particular plant anyway. It's another huge one on there. Huge. I don't see any more blossoms, maybe right at the top, but while they're looking healthy, I'll leave them go. Oh, spider webs. All right, more tomatoes, more tomatoes. I've got a freezer full of tomatoes already. They're doing amazing, and while they're looking good, they get to stay. Carrots, I just sowed carrot seeds around in here. You can see something's been eating the tops, but that's fine. We'll see how they go. it could potentially just be one of the collies, because Gracie G has been helping herself to tomatoes lately, just green ones. Don't know why. She likes them, she eats them. Alright, so this is the Sans Marzano. As you can see, the production on this has been so much better than the Amish paste. These tomatoes are just loaded. But they're also the one that I've noticed the grubs love the most. You can see some caterpillar damage. I've just been picking them off. I haven't sprayed anything on them yet. So far they seem to just like the leaves more than the actual tomatoes, which has been nice. So I'll just continue to pick the grubs off as I see them. And that seems to keep them under control. Look at this tomato plant. They're just loaded and putting on more blossoms as well. So, alright, lost the tag on this one, but as you can see, beautiful fruits coming on. And more fruit and more fruit. You see how big some of these plants are getting. They're just gorgeous and still putting on blossoms. I know this one's a Brandywine Red. We've also gotten quite a few fruits off of this one as well, so I'll definitely be planting the Brandywines again. Look, little garden friend eating bugs. Oh, here's his buddy. Alright, coming out of the greenhouse, we have nothing but rubbish in this garden bed. Nothing has ever grown in it. So I'm probably actually going to remove them. These two, especially once those sweet potatoes are done, I'll probably get rid of them. Alright, some self-seeded marigolds, I'm pretty sure. I had marigolds and cosmos in this garden. So we'll see what comes up. Always happy with flowers. This garden bed looks like a trash pile right now, but the dogs have been into a bit because I did bury a heap of fish carcasses under there, so you can see the dogs have dug some of them up, but they definitely haven't got to all of them, so hopefully we can use this bed. This tarp on top is also what I dug out from underneath the garden bed here. So there was literally like a tarp under, 10 centimeters of dirt. It just didn't have any drainage. It always stayed really wet and clay-like. So I dug up that tarp. This one at the end, probably be getting rid of that too. Alright, let's head around to this garden bed, this greenhouse. Not a lot going on in here. Parsley's still going strong. I'm so surprised it hasn't gone to seed. It's actually warmed up quite a bit this weekend. On this side, carrots. And a cherry tomato plant that I've just let go ham. It's pretty big. Still putting on blossoms. A few little cherry tomatoes. This plant definitely struggled in the start, which is why it's so far behind the big tomatoes. But yeah, that's it for this garden bed. I've tried to amend it a bit. I will probably still rest it this summer. Alright, that's it for the garden beds that I've got going at the moment. But I have started a few seeds for the next season, hoping that I've got stuff that will survive through our disgustingly hot and humid summers here. So, I'll show you what I've got going. I've got some okra that's come up. Corn over the back there. It's starting to come up as well. These seeds have only been in about a week. And like I said, it's still getting quite cool overnight. So, I'm not expecting huge germination just yet. These are all different herbs, so some different types of basil Over here is pretty much all my chilies, different types of chilies and capsicums. They haven't come up yet, but I wouldn't have expected them to either. But fingers crossed. Heaps of different types. I'll go through them all once we actually see what the germination rate is, because I am not holding my breath. Quite a bit's also changed with the fruit trees. It's definitely the change of season, and you can see that especially on the mangoes and things. Collies. Right, so these mango trees, these are the really big established ones. I don't know if you can see. They've all put on flowers. Ooh, bee, let the bee do its thing. They've all put on flowers and the flowers have died off, and like, I have no idea about mango trees and what they should be doing to actually put on fruit, so I guess we'll see. But all the mango trees have been flowering. You can see on this other one up here, see all that pink at the top there? That's all flowers. So hoping for a good mango season. I love mangoes. Alright, citrus is all coming to an end. All this stuff's pretty much got to go in the compost. And as for these trees, there's like a mulberry and a couple of citrus in this garden bed. The plan is, even though it's got fruit on it that is like ripening, maybe I'll hold off, maybe I won't. It's way too early for mulberries. But the plan is to cut all these trees out, get the roots out somehow, and this is going to be my chili beds. So these two on the outside that aren't covered in shade are going to be the chili and capsicum beds. Although I may just wait to get this year's mulberry harvest off it. Alright, now to the main orchard. Always get that confused with orchid, but it's orchard. And things are definitely growing. I'm really happy with how it's going. All the trees have had a feed, and I've mulched them to try and keep some water into the roots, because it really doesn't rain much here in winter, and we've had next to nothing. So I'm watering them about once a week. They get about 20 to 30 minutes with the hose once a week, which seems to be enough to keep them going. As you can see, one of my avocado trees anyway, it's definitely putting on new growth. Really happy with that. All the avocados are like this. It's my 3 avocado trees. Over the back here is a baby mango tree, and I really need to cut the flowers off this thing because it does not need to be growing mangoes when it's so small. But look at the mango flowers on this one, like, it's amazing. Which makes me worry that in those big trees that they're not going to produce, because maybe the flowers died before they got pollinated. I'm not sure. But this tree is way too small to be growing mangoes. This thing, I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to plant something else there. My baby fig tree, it's doing okay, but the pests are already starting to make an impact, but it's got new growth, so we're happy. Like I said, all this citrus, it all tastes pretty meh, so I'm going to pull all the oranges and whatever's off and give them all a good trim and a good feed, and hope that they do a little better next year. So it's pretty much just citrus all the way back down this row, mango and a mulberry at the back that's taken back off. Macadamia nut trees, they haven't flowered yet, but my experience, we had macadamias at the last place we lived, and I found it only sort of flowered and set fruit every 2 years, so we'll see how that goes. Another fig tree putting on new growth, had some figs on it. Oh, it still does. The birds haven't got them yet. It's pretty much the only bonus about having the border collies running around the gardens is that they scare off the birds from eating all the fruits. More mangoes with more flowers. One thing I do need to do is pick these lemons off, and I'll juice them and just freeze the lemon juice. I already have a freezer full of mandarins that I've peeled, separated. I didn't de-seed because they are kind of full of seeds. But there must be about 10 kilos in my freezer, and I reckon there's still 10 kilos on that tree, on the good tree. But I'm so over it. It's sticky, takes forever to separate them all and get all the pith off. But if I'm feeling motivated, I might do it later. All right, moving on to more of our summer trees. Look at this lychee tree. It's putting on mad blossoms. Love lychees. They are delicious. This tree looks really good. I gave it a good hack back and a feed after it fruited last. Not that you can tell, but it definitely looks good. More mangoes, more macadamia nuts. Another avocado, which is looking like it may even be starting to flower. I hope so. Your girl here could live off mangoes and avocados. Another fig tree. It's got plenty of figs on it with its new growth. And yeah, that's about it for this orchard. But I will take you up the back where these where these mulberry trees have gone absolutely bonkers. Look at them. Hanging out waiting for the afternoon game. Here's a boo-boo. Pesky dogs. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Get the ball. Yeah, get the ball. If you ever thought about getting a heap of border collies, maybe this will turn you off. They get nuts with the game. Alright, so this is a different part of the property where the mulberries and dragon fruits are. But look at these mulberry trees. All of a sudden they just went gangbusters. They've put on so much growth and they have so much fruit on them. Even though I still have a bag of frozen mulberries from last year, but I think I'll make a mulberry pie with that to use them up. Might have to take you guys along for how to make mulberry pie. It is divine. All right, dragon fruits, they're looking quite good. They've put on a bit of new growth. This one needs some attention. It's got some dead bits. I haven't had a chance to cut them off yet, but you know, they're putting on new growth. Mulberries. Like, look at all the fruits up there. That's crazy. It's going to have buckets and buckets of mulberries off 2 trees. Now this dragon fruit's definitely put on the most new growth. You can see all that new growth at the top there. See how the ends are like all pointy and different. Putting on some new growth down here. I'm gonna have to definitely cross-pollinate this plant. It never, like, it put on so many flowers last year and not one developed into a fruit. So I'm gonna have to cross-pollinate it with another type. I think when the flowers come on, hopefully they come on at the same time. That'd be nice. And at the back of this row, we've got some mangoes, some more mangoes. Can never have enough mangoes. See, this tree flowered. The other 2 haven't, thank God, because they are way too small. So that's like winter here at Collie Country. Love it. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.